It's 10 o'clock and live from the KTEN studios, this is KTEN News at 10.
Right now on KTEN News at 10, rat race. City officials scramble to find a way to stop a rat population explosion. We'll show you where it's happening.
Plus, into the storm.
The reason I chase is I've always had a fascination with severe weather, in particular tornadic thunderstorms.
While most of us try to avoid the dangers of severe weather, it takes a special breed to look it right in the eye. We'll introduce you to a local storm chaser who puts his life on the line to help keep you safe from tornadoes.
And charged with murder. A local man has been charged after investigators say he killed an infant and he was babysitting. KTEN News at 10 starts right now. Good evening, I'm Kathleen Jordan. Welcome to KTEN News at 10.
And I'm Tom Crespo. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Ardmore, where firefighters are trying to salvage what they can of a home right now. Now, crews are on the scene. They tell us that nearly half of the home is a loss. Commander Scott Richards with the Ardmore Fire Department says flames are still coming from the roof. The home is in the 600 block of 4th Street Southwest. We're told everyone inside made it out safely. Commander Richards says the homeowners had a large amount of ammunition inside, and when crews arrived, it started going off. The firefighters had to wait several minutes for it to calm down.
It's in the attic, so we're having a little bit of difficulty with that, but it looks like we're making some good headway. One of the complicating factors that we encountered when we got here was that there was ammo in the structure, and that was going off, so we kind of had to hold back a little bit, try to do as much as we could from the outside so we didn't get anybody shot.
Fire officials say the home sustained severe water damage, and they're still trying to figure out what caused that fire. A Lone Grove man made his first appearance in court today in connection with the death of a baby that was in his care. Investigators say he killed a 22-month-old baby that he was babysitting. The prosecutors say 35-year-old Conan Collins has been charged with first-degree murder and child neglect. District Attorney Craig Ladd says evidence showed Collins stomped on the child sometime Wednesday after the boy's mother dropped him off at Collins' home. CPR was performed and the boy was taken to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Prosecutors say he died of blunt force trauma. Collins' wife, Brittany Collins, wasn't charged in that crime, but she was charged with child neglect in connection with her own children. And now neighbors say they want to know the truth.
You're in charge of somebody's world right there. Like, you can't just, whatever happened, I don't know how we're going to make up for it, but you really better start thinking of how.
Collins is scheduled to be back in court June 30th. Bond was denied. Brittany Collins is being held on $100,000 bond. We now know the name of the woman who was killed along Highway 75 in Durant this weekend. Police say 30-year-old Stephanie Evans was walking on the highway just north of the Choctaw Casino around midnight Sunday. A passenger van traveling north hit Evans along the road and called 911. Police say they're not clear exactly why she was walking on the road. People in Durant say that stretch of road is dangerous.
It's just so many people, you know, so many people coming out of the casino and going in like the Travel Plaza and stuff.
Police say the driver didn't appear to be intoxicated and the accident is still under investigation.
An investigation is underway after a child makes a strange find. It appears to be a human skull found on the banks of the North Canadian River in Potawatomi County. Shelley Mills has more.
The man and a friend were fishing here along the banks of the North Canadian River when the man's 5-year-old son brought him what he thought was a turtle shell.
When I picked it up, I noticed it wasn't no turtle shell, you know.
It was a skull, a find that Rudy Nunez was a little shocked by.
I kind of got spooked out because I was like, it's a human skull, you know, it's a person.
Rudy took it to his home and we woke up planning to turn it over to the sheriff.
I was going to stop by the sheriff's, but at the same time, my son too, they had jumped in the water because I had my 2 boys with me. And they jumped in the water and got wet and they were hungry, so I'm like, okay, well, we'll go home and I'll just do it in the morning.
He says his wife immediately was concerned, wondering if the skull could be that of Colton Clark, the little boy missing since 2006. Seminole County officials recently searched the property where Colton last lived, looking for remains, but they came up with no answers. Whether this is, in fact, in any way related to that case is unknown. It's simply too early to tell. Rudy contacted News Channel 4. We then called the sheriff, who came out and took the skull. Seminole County says it was found in Potawatomi County. That office will have to investigate. That work started today. Rudy was back out on the banks of the river with the sheriff's officials showing them where he was fishing and where his son found the skull. OSBI officials say this is a good time to remind everyone, if you find what appears to be human remains, you should not pick them up.
They should not disturb it, back away from it, and call 911 immediately.
Doing so could disturb other evidence. Rudy didn't mean to cause any harm. He's just hopeful authorities can figure out who the skull belongs to.
Still somebody, you know, it's somebody.
And that was Shelley Mills reporting. The Pottawatomie County Sheriff says they're working to determine if the skull may belong to any missing person cases in the area. They say at this time there's no way to know if it's connected to that Colton Clark case. On Friday, the Obama administration mandated schools across the country to allow anyone to use the bathroom that they choose. And today, a local school district says they will not comply. Bonham ISD Superintendent Dr. Marvin Beatty says there will be no confusion when it comes to figuring out which bathroom to use at their schools. He says as of right now, all students, faculty, and visitors will use the bathroom for the gender they were born as. Dr. Beatty believes the decision to not comply reflects the values of the community that surround the district.
Gender identification is, there's no card, there's no way to know if someone is being genuine or if they're being deviant. There's no way to know. And in this town, that's just not going to work.
Dr. Beatty says the Obama administration's threat to withhold federal funding if schools do not comply is political blackmail, and he says the district stands with their current decision, but if the board wants to reconsider, he will comply. Turning to weather now, an overcast day to start our work week and maybe storms coming in.
Yeah, Alan, looks like some rain for the week.
Well, one for part of the week anyway. As a matter of fact, some of that will begin after midnight tonight. A severe storm watch has been issued until 3 a.m. for western sections of Oklahoma, generally out and along and west of the I-44 corridor out there. A tornado warning in effect right on the border of Texas and Oklahoma around the Sweetwater, Texas area. But by the time the system makes it into, say, closer to our region after midnight, it should weaken quite a bit. We will see some heavy rainfall and small hail and gusty winds, but the severe weather threat for Texoma overnight looks to be pretty low right now.
Thank you, Alan. Hundreds of new homes will soon be built in the city of Howe. LGI developers plan to build 113 homes along Summit Hill by next February. The city broke ground in 2007, but the project was stalled because of the housing crisis the next year in 2008. Construction is set to begin immediately. Developers say they've already filed permits with the city for some of the lots. The city hopes with more homes coming to the area, they could soon bring in a grocery store sometime in the future, and some residents can't wait to see what else it will bring.
Now, there's a few people in town that don't want any growth, but I'd love to have a grocery store, I'd love to have a drugstore. You know, I don't like driving to Sherman for everything.
In addition to this project, developers say they plan to build a park next to the neighborhood. The city says people should be moving in this time next year. Still ahead at 10, a semi makes a full roll when the wheels come off at high speed.
Plus, our KTEN storm chaser puts his life on the line heading into storms, and we'll introduce you to him and show you why he does it coming up next.
And Alan's back with your full forecast. KTEN News at 10 returns. As Africanized killer bees continue to spread across the country, people in one town feel overwhelmed. A swarm in town has already caused 2 deaths. We'll show you what's being done to try to stop them. That and more still ahead.
Right after another, even over 30.
You're watching KTEN News at 10 with Tom Crespo, Kathleen Jordan, Ashley Prendergast with sports, and Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell with the weather.
And again, even though it's been quiet this afternoon and tonight around our Texoma area, I think that'll be changing somewhat after midnight, maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, as a storm complex over western parts of Oklahoma makes its way into our region overnight. By that time, though, severe weather threat should be pretty much diminished. However, some heavy rain, small hail, and gusty winds still will be a potential. Here's a live shot of our Dr. Jack Thomas tower camera, but going to Doppler radar once again. During the last hour, you can see a general southeastward movement around 20-25 miles an hour. I have a tornado warning on that particular cell right there, and that's just to the northwest of Elk City, Oklahoma. But again, the complex is showing some signs of weakening a little bit, and it'll continue moving southeastward once again. But all in all, things will become a little bit quieter for us around the region. Going in a little bit closer again, the red arrow or a red box here outlines where the part of the storm showing still a little bit of rotation. It's not dramatic or anything, but caution needs to be used out in that area. That's why the tornado warning continues to be issued there for that particular cell. For us this afternoon, we made it to 77 degrees, close to a normal day for us. Typically about 79 is where we would be. Our records are 44 and 94. Now then, a few strong storms overnight, and then storm chances, I'll put it that way, as opposed to saying storms will be across the area all week long. But each day, some days more, some days less, the potential is there, but the weather pattern showing signs of changing during the day on Friday, so that should give us a pretty nice weekend before it gets stormy once again. So our best chance of seeing rainfall tomorrow will be during the morning hours, and then that'll clear out somewhat and then perhaps redevelop again by tomorrow evening. Out at Lake Texoma, generators still running 24 hours a day. The lake's down another half foot in the last 24-hour period, and the floodgates have been closed now after being open for over a week, and elevation close to where normal is for this time of year. Seeing temperatures, well, generally upper 60s to about lower 70s across much of the region. Amarillo's 58, but still it was 95 this afternoon out in southwestern parts of the area around Midland. Still a warm evening out in that region. Now our satellite review again showing an upper level disturbance pushing the clouds and the storms southeast ever so slowly, again only around 20 miles an hour, and as they move further into our region, say the I-35 corridor, the weather pattern or the weather conditions are a little more stable, so it won't be quite as stormy, or the storms won't be quite as strong by the time they get here. Our future radar forecast here 6 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorm still in progress across the area, and then pretty much winds down by mid-morning and then starts to redevelop again, it looks like, as a front blows in by late afternoon. Wednesday should be a fairly quiet day for most of us, and then another strong storm system on Thursday. So it's that'll be our best chance probably this week. Rainfall amounts will average maybe 2 to 3 inches over the next few days. Again, things begin to wind down on Friday, leaving us with pretty nice weather over the weekend. But it is May, and that means storms off and on, so we'll go back into a stormy pattern the beginning of next week.
Not the kind of stuff we had last week, though.
No, it sure doesn't look that way. You know, some heavy rain, some hail, some wind, but tornado risk, I don't see that happening.
All right, thanks, Alan. Well, still to come, a nighttime fishing trip almost cost a group of fishermen their lives when their boat capsized. We'll show you the daring nighttime rescue that saved them.
And you usually hear his voice and see his video during severe weather, but next, we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look at KTEN storm chaser Doug Drace hard at work. Oh my gosh, he confessed to the murder.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
As people across Texoma continue to pick up the pieces from last week's devastating storms, a local storm chaser who was in the middle of it all takes time out to reflect on what he saw.
KTEN's Michelle Choi is live in the studio with his story. Michelle.
Kathleen, we often hear him, but we won't see him during our severe weather coverage. He's the voice that helps inform us during some of our most critical moments. Meet KTEN storm chaser Doug Drace, the man behind the storm.
The reason I chase is I've always had a fascination with severe weather, in particular tornadic thunderstorms, and the incredible beauty that they possess, as well as the raw power. I can still see clear as day the tornado rapidly enlarging right between these two trees. An immense amount of debris start coming up from behind the tornado.
During a tornado, we're told to take cover.
You need to be in your safe place now.
But for the last 21 years, Doug Drace has made it his mission to be on the ground during those terrifying moments.
The tornado actually began to develop just out here to the west.
Drace is a storm chaser for KTEN. He's the man behind the camera that captures these incredible moments Mother Nature often unleashes.
Wow, the tornado continues to get larger. Just look at the debris in the air around this tornado.
Some may say he does it for the thrill.
I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't a part of me that, was drawn to the adrenaline rush of being up close and personal with the ultimate force on the face of the earth.
But the longtime storm chaser says it's about keeping people safe.
It's just important that everybody that is in this field does everything they can to do their part in order to increase warning time on these kind of storms.
Last week, several tornadoes tore through southern Oklahoma. One of them was an EF4 near Wynnewood.
I honestly don't think, and I've chased a lot of big tornadoes over the years, that I've ever seen a ground level circulation as intense as this one was.
Drace followed the powerful twister that took the life of an elderly man and ripped apart dozens of homes and fields.
The utmost important thing that was going through my mind was knowing, after I had just driven through this area minutes before, knowing that there were homes and that there were possibly people in those homes, was just getting the word out.
Critical moments Drace was a part of both on the ground and on air. His voice informing KTEN viewers of what was happening in real time.
This is a top-end EF4, EF5 kind of tornado on the ground right now.
All while being the eyes for Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell.
Doug, are you still there with us?
Yeah, Alan.
And meteorologist Sarah Spivey.
We're getting reports from Doug Drace and other storm chasers
to help warn and better protect the public.
On the ground here.
But when the storms die down and the adrenaline is no longer pumping, Drace often heads back to the areas he's covered and reflects on the immensity of it all.
Being out here today and being able to see who was affected by these storms that you chase, what do you think?
This is the part that brings the human element to it. This is when you realize that it's more than just the thrill of the chase. You realize that the people's lives are completely changed in an instant.
And it's that dedication to saving lives that will have Drace on watch for the next powerful storm. And as we prepare for more severe storms this week, make sure to keep it right here on KTEN News to hear the latest from Doug and, of course, our very own Alan Mitchell. Reporting live in the studio, Michelle Choi, KTEN News.
Well, still to come on KTEN News at 10, the 2016 draft class is hard at work for the Dallas Cowboys, and a former Cowboys running back has some advice for the new first-round pick. Hear what he had to say later in sports.
And a man is trapped inside his truck as it sinks into the river. We'll show you who came to save him. The buzzword in one northern California town is fear after a swarm of killer bees showed up in town.
That story tops tonight's Pinpointing the Nation. Neighbors say the swarm first appeared on Friday when landscape workers moved their hive. They turned out to be Africanized killer bees. 2 small dogs were killed when they were stung dozens of times.
Climbing up my hair, just trying to get to my head, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
A beekeeper killed most of the bees overnight by using soap and water to melt their wax coat. He believes the queen is dead and expects the rest of the hive to die off within a couple of days. It's rats causing the chaos in a town in upstate New York. The infestation started several months ago, and now the big rodents are out of control.
The cats can't even mess with them because I guess maybe I don't know, they're so big, I wouldn't want to mess with them.
City officials say they just heard about the problem last week. They're now issuing fines to landlords who leave trash piled up outside their buildings. First responders in South Carolina didn't have to go far to get to a car crash this morning after the vehicle slammed into their fire station. Surveillance video shows the upside-down car as it came skidding towards the building. 2 people in the car were taken to the hospital. They're expected to be okay. It was a scary drive home for some commuters in New York when a tractor-trailer rolled over on a bridge. The truck's wheels and axles even came off during the wreck. At least 2 vehicles were hit by debris, but somehow no one was hurt. It was a dramatic rescue in Pennsylvania after the driver of a pickup truck lost control and crashed into the marsh. He was trapped inside his truck as it sank into the water. Rescuers pulled him to safety with a ladder, then put him on a gurney and took him to the hospital. It was a daring nighttime rescue off the coast of Florida as a boat was sinking fast in the Gulf. The 4 people on the yacht were sitting in chest-deep water wearing life jackets when the Coast Guard arrived. No one was hurt. And finally, a shark that bit a woman on the other side of Florida may have been small, but it wasn't giving up without a fight. When emergency crews arrived to help, the 2-foot nurse shark was still attached to the woman's arm. That's how she went to the hospital, where doctors managed to remove it. And that's tonight's Pinpointing the Nation. If you'd like to see tonight's Pinpointing again or any others you might have missed, log on to our website, KTEN.com.
Still ahead on KTEN News at 10, an AL West and AL East divisional rivalry is here to stay. Hear from Ruben Odor on his slugging on Sunday. Next in sports.
Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, really? But the guy who threw the punch's name's Rugnid Odor. Yeah. Like, it really doesn't apply here, but okay.
Now sports with Ashley Prendergast.
The brotherhood in the NFL is a strong bond that in many cases transcends between teams. And as a new wave of NFL players begin their careers, we see different veterans offering advice to rookies. And that was even true for the newest Dallas Cowboys running back. Dallas first-round pick Ezekiel Elliott was contacted by former running back and league rusher DeMarco Murray shortly after he was drafted. Murray, showing no hard feelings to his former team, he offered the former Ohio State standout some prime advice for success, and it involved tight end Jason Witten. Murray told Elliott, everything and everywhere he goes, be there by his side, watching and listening. He will show him the way on and off the field. I think that's sound advice for anyone who wants to be a great and memorable Dallas Cowboy. Denison senior Chris Eichler signed his national letter of intent today, making the Yellow Jackets proud. The righty was a solid arm for the Jackets, helping lead them to an 8-18 season. He will continue his baseball career at Oklahoma Christian. He's excited to soar with the Eagles.
It's awesome just to finally get to go on and do something I've always dreamed about doing, taking that next step in life. I've always dreamed about this moment. Amazing, on top of the world. Feels great to finally get to go play at the next level. Never take the easy way. Always do what you have to do to get better and improve. There's always something you can do to improve.
The infamous bat flip by Jose Bautista made blood boil with Rangers players and coaches last year during the AL Divisional Playoffs. The heat between the two teams has been building, and now it's a full-on rivalry. In Sunday's game, Bautista slid into Rougned Odor, and a bench-clearing brawl ensued. And once Bautista squared up to Odor, he was not about to wait and see what happened next, so he took the first punch, and MLB is investigating the incident, and Odor doesn't regret his actions.
I think you see what happened. For me, I think it was a pretty hard slide, but you see what happened. That's what I'm trying. I mean, I know he's gonna come hard because I know I can tell when somebody's coming hard to second base. So I just trying to protect myself. I have to. I mean, I saw him standing there. After a slide, he was like looking at me. I was like, watch out, you know.
Yeah, Odor, what's up? Stadium concessions can be a real bummer in any game day experience. A hot dog could run you $10. Well, the Falcons said no more inflated prices. On Monday, the NFL team announced food and beverage pricing for all events at their new stadium will start at $2 for soft drinks, including free refills. That sounds good to me. Hot dogs, pretzels, and popcorn.
And I think what you'll see today is a long-term response to food and beverage variety and value and pricing that will make it easy for a family to bring them to the stadium and have a great day here.
And the Western Conference Finals, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook taking on the Warriors tonight. First quarter, Steph Curry missing a shot right here. Russell Westbrook goes up for the rebound, gets fouled in the face. Ouch, that looked like it hurt. But he was charged with a flagrant foul on Russell Westbrook. Curry pass stolen by Kevin Durant right here. A little pass action for the Jam. Thunder down 9. Later, Warriors up 9. Westbrook to Serge Ibaka, draining the 3. Thunder and Warriors. It's going to be a close series the whole time. Thunder leading it 106-102 in the fourth quarter with 15 seconds to go. Looks like a windy. Can't say anything until the last buzzer comes off that board. So hanging on tight for the win, hopefully.
All right.
In game 1.
Thank you, Ashley. And how are we looking, Alan?
Well, let's check radar real quick for you. Our Max 2, there we go. Big storm complex weakening as it continues to move in our area, probably sometime after midnight. Some heavy rain and lots of lightning.
All right, thanks, Alan. That's it for us. Thanks for watching.
Have a great night.